Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our presentation. We are the Facility Management Tracking Team. My name is Avinash Nuka, and joined with me today is Easton Jokimston and Joey Ballantyne. Our stakeholders are as follows for the project. Our project owner is the Bay, and we have the following sponsors that are part of this project. The Bay is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a focus on helping disadvantaged youth in the community. For the project, the Bay wants a seamless way to check people into various spaces throughout their facilities. This is meant to collect data on members that utilize the Bay as well. Our team consists of the following. I myself am the squad lead and development manager. Joey Ballantyne is the product manager, and Aaron, Micah, Sarah, and Easton are the developers. Our coach is Drew Ulmer, our tribe lead is Brady Garvin, and our project manager is Melanie Kruger-Wright.
As for problem and opportunity, the problem was that the Bay had no way to keep track of all of their information. They were keeping track of all their data in separate places, sometimes physical paper, other times Google Sheets, and they wanted a much easier way of getting numbers for reporting, as well as just an easier system in general for what they were doing on a daily basis. The opportunity was to build a system that could consolidate all of their existing data and simplify the check-in process. As for the solution built, we have a React.js web app frontend loaded in a custom Swift iOS application to be run on iPads. The admin console portion is for system management of the whole system. For example, the Bay staff can edit user data or send announcements for their staff to see. In the main application, they can manage and check in users, manage inventory, and make purchases for their various locations around the Bay. RFID scanners connected to Raspberry Pis allow for the Bay staff to easily scan and check people in to their various facilities. For our backend, we use Sales.js plus a MySQL database. As for our front end, a few technical details. We have multiple custom components that are reused around our application. We also have WebSockets for real-time information updates. For example, when a user checks in, our backend sends a real-time WebSocket broadcast in order for the information to update on the front end. In our backend, the waterline ORM is used for database modeling. As you can see here by our ER diagram, our database is very large. There are many tables needed to do all of the functionality required for this system. As for third-party integrations, we integrate with the Square point of sale system. We use the web app version of the point of sale API with a special callback that takes us back to the iOS application. We pass the price and the item list into the point of sale. Items purchased through Square are then applied to the user that purchased them. Eventbrite is an event management system that the Bay already uses, so we integrated a webhook for creating events when an Eventbrite event is created. We also integrate with SmartWaiver, which the Bay uses for legal reasons, as well as for keeping track of users of the Bay. We also integrated a webhook with this that creates a new user and updates existing users when a waiver is signed.
Next, we can talk about our RFID solution for our application. We needed a solution separated from the iPads to quickly check users into specific locations throughout the Bay facility. We created scanning stations through the use of Raspberry Pis with RFID scanners. Each scanning station is tied to a facility within the Bay to direct RFID traffic. This is a context diagram of our RFID solution. On the left, you can see an RFID scanner is placed to receive RFID signals. These signals will be then compiled into a post request and sent to our backend. Our backend integrates with our SQL database to extract data and figure out what the data means to us. Now to continue on, we can speak on the security and authorization of our application. Right now, we have a two-factor custom auth system set up, made from system users, which contain username and password, and employee users, which only take a PIN. We decided to go with this system because the Bay requested that a PIN sign-in was used. For password protection, we use bcrypt to hash our passwords, and we use JWT tokens for authenticating a user with our system, and authorization is performed with a custom role-based system made from these system users and employee users. This is the workflow diagram of the security and auth features in our application. As you can see, there's two different locations in which a user has to log into, the system login and the employee login. When a correct username and password is entered, it'll authenticate with our system and a JWT token will be signed for the system level user. Once that system level user JWT is signed, we can progress on to the employee user login. This works the exact same way. It's just the only difference is in order to authenticate with this system, you need a system level token in order to communicate with the employee user's backend. Once both areas are filled in, a brand new JWT token will be authenticated and the user will be allowed to enter into whatever location. Now we will walk through a very brief demo of our application. This is a system user login point. One provided correct credentials, we will be allowed to the employee authorization point. This is the basic skate park page and where all the main POS activity will take place. On your right, you can see a basic feed of all the items that we can see and all the activity that is being made within the skate park. Towards your left, you'll see a series of buttons which controls the application, and we will begin by clicking on the register user button. When clicked on this will bring us to the smart waiver as Joey spoke on before. Register RFID is how an RFID card is known in our system. You say a user wants to come in and get a new RFID card, this is how they would do it. They would select the user that is requesting the card and you would scan on the system, and this is how you subscribe a card to a user. Moving on, you have the manual check-in, which is used for checking users in, and this is the primary workflow of the application. When checked in, you can see the feed is being used, and this is how they know whether or not a user has access to the system or whether they do not. Moving on, purchase. This is where you can purchase items based on the user for users. You can purchase different access types and different skate punches packs. Onto rentals, you can select users that have already logged into the system and move on and rent different items such as skateboards or helmets. In the inventory page, this is where all your inventory is tracked, such as skateboards and helmets. As you can see, most of the items are checked out, and this is where you can check them back in. When items are checked in, they become available for rentals. So if we go back to the rentals, this is where you actually rent skateboards and helmets out in our system. That is a basic workflow of the skate park. Other than the skate park, we also have different areas such as the collective. Next, we want to talk about the events page. The events page interfaces with Eventbrite. Whenever the Bay hosts events at their facilities, we need to know what event they are registering, and we need to be able to track attendance both for cash attendance at the door and ticket attendance for people who have bought tickets online. This is where you can collect cash attendance and ticket attendance, and this will be registered for certain events that are selected. You can select different events if different events are happening today, and you can check people in to different events at different times. Moving on to the admin console. This is the primary controller of the application, as Joey spoke on before. This is where all the different controlling aspects of our application happen, and we can also get reporting through this admin console. So as you can see, you can do different operations on all of our data tables within our ER diagram, and there's always some sort of permissions to be granted or attendance to be logged. And this is where the Bay will come to manage their system. As for the reporting tab, we can compile reports such as all check-ins in all areas between whatever time frame that they desire. And they can run reports and get data, collect data based on their usage.
This has been our showcase presentation. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed it.
And also, thank you so much for the Bay for giving us the opportunity to do this project.